Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. This program is suitable for general viewing.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is Friday, the 27th of October. This is the Muslim Insight, the show that brings you your weekly news recap as well as a review of today's Friday Bulletin. My name is Nadia Osman and my sign language interpreter is Mr. Abdul Rahab. Before we give you the news for the week, first let's give you the headlines.
Ulimwengu wetu kama sisi hatukusoma, na tulikuwa tunapenda sana watoto wa kike wapate wasome.
Girl child education. We tell you the story of 10 women who missed out on education themselves but are now transforming the lives of girls in Eldoret.
I'm so grateful to be a witness to what literally Kenya is doing in the Muslim community. You know, of course, when it comes to reverts, they need care. They need, they need support.
Reverts Convention. A FIFA event holds first Reverts Convention at the Bomas of Kenya.
Lakini hii hali ya kesi za defilement, rape, zimezidi. Sababu ile gereza imejaa hawa.
War on narcotics. Malindi Security Committee declares war on narcotics and disco matanga in the region.
Now, the Bomas of Kenya played host to the first ever Reverts Convention on Saturday, with organizers calling it a significant step towards fostering unity and understanding in the Kenyan Muslim community. The convention, organized by FIFA Events, a production that gives a platform to Muslims to define and empower themselves and those who have embraced Islam later in life, brought together reverts along with the scholars, community leaders and a special guest speaker, Ustada Aisha Prime from the United States. The event was aimed at providing a platform for reverts to listen to interesting topics and share their unique experiences and challenges while promoting a better understanding of the Muslim faith.
I'm so proud of Kenya, honestly, so proud of just all the work in education and the media and the schools. You guys are doing an amazing job and you're an example for the Muslim Ummah.
The Bomas of Kenya, a cultural center located in Langata, Nairobi, was transformed into a hub of dialogue, education and cultural exchange for the reverts.
It's not that we're trying to segregate ourselves from the Muslim community, it's just understanding that we have a frame of reference that's slightly different from people who are born in the faith, and there's certain nuances that perhaps our Muslim brothers and sisters may not appreciate, but are really important to understand because that's what keeps us in the faith.
Speaking to the Muslim Insight, Umiwa Bomba, the organizer of the Reverts Convention, said the event is a remarkable milestone that provides a platform for reverts to share their experiences, educate others about their journey to Islam, and break down misconceptions.
I'm so grateful to be a witness to what literally Kenya is doing in the Muslim community. You know, of course, when it comes to reverts, they need care. They need, they need support, subhanAllah, and that comes in the form of programming. They need, programs at the masajid for themselves, for their families, just many times to explain what is Islam, to talk about some of the challenges that they face as a result of being reverts. And mostly what they need is for our masajid to be true community to them.
We hope this is just the beginning. I think this is also an encouragement to Muslims, those who have been born in Muslim families or those who are joining Islam, that if you think there's something you can do to make a difference in the lives of the Muslims, just go for it.
The convention saw rivers taken through topics including the path of the beloved, stranger among the people, all prophets were Muslims, Mary the mother of Jesus, walking into the unknown and two extremes.
I'm a Rivat, so it was really fundamental to know that there's a support system that people can rely on. A lot of Rivats, they become Muslims, and it's takbir, alhamdulillah, and everything, and then you're left alone in terms of knowledge, in terms of support. So this conference kind of is a beginning, inshallah bidillah, of a support system.
Zulfa Njenga, a Rivat, said it has been a long journey of learning, adapting, sentiments echoed by Muhammad Alake, a Muslim resident of Marsabit County, who came all the way to the convention to join his brothers and sisters and listen to their experiences and learn from their stories.
It gave us more iman to know that we are not alone. Having a Rivati coming to Kenya, addressing us, it is not easy, but alhamdulillah, it has given us more courage to go on with our deen.
Mimi nilipatana na ummi wa bomba kupitia article ya Friday Bulletin. Nikajaribu kufuatilia hiyo details, tukaongelea kanieleza kuhusu hii conference. Watu 1300 wamesilimu, hiyo kijiji msikiti ni moja. Wanahitaji msikiti wa kusalia. Hiyo watu wamesilimu, watoto wao wanataka madaris. Hiyo watu wamesilimu, wakubwa, wazee kwa kina mama, wote wanataka darasa mahali wanafunzwa. Hizi zote ni facilities ambazo zinahitajika kwa sasa. Hiyo imenileta safari kutoka Marsabit kukuja mpaka huku, nikutane na hii watu, nikuje nifanye networking, nione vile wataweza saidika.
The success of the Rivat Convention at the Bomas of Kenya marked a significant milestone for the new Muslims.
We are extremely excited that we have started something that has not been in this country before, that we thought of bringing Rivats together and have one of their own come all the way from the US to speak to them as a sister that is still going through the journey, because I don't think the journey of Islam ends. So for us, we feel it's been an honor, it's been a great ni'mah from Allah, and I think one of the things that we really have been grateful for is that when Ustada landed and we were going to have some activities in Elementaita, where she was doing some groundbreaking ceremony, we got our first Shahada.
Reporting for Muslim Insight, my name is Mariam Lanji.
Thank you for that beautiful report, Mariam. Now, the northern Kenya is experiencing heavy rains despite the Kenya Meteorological Department scaling down the El Nino expectations to just short rains. Last week, President William Ruto announced that the country will not experience the El Nino rains as early predicted by the Kenya Meteorological Department. The president said the department has scaled the expected rains to short rains. He said the short rains will enable the country to work on its food production.
Tumevuna mahindi magunia milioni 44 ambayo inaendelea sasa. Makadirio yetu ni kwamba mwaka huu tutaongeza mazao yetu ya shambani by an extra 45% ambayo itapatikana. Na nia yetu ni kuhakikisha kwamba tusirudi mahali pale tena, mahali unga inafika shilingi 230. We will never go there again. Mungu atatusaidia so that we have enough food to feed our country. Na hiyo ndio mpango yetu. Hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mahali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Si tunamshukuru Mungu jameni? So na hiyo mvua nyingi ambayo tutapata, pia tumejipanga katika hii short rains. Tumepanga pia wakulima watuzalishie chakula tena so that we have another harvest by January or February.
Thank you for that report. Now, Garissa County government has commissioned 2,500 community health promoters in Afya Nyumbani initiative aimed at strengthening health services access to the citizens. According to Garissa Governor Nadia Osman, the health promoters are part of the government's commitment in implementing the Universal Health Coverage Program.
The County Executive Committee for Health, Ahmed Nadia Osman, while speaking to the press at the sidelines of the Mashujaa Day celebrations held at Bura East Sub-County, said that the health promoters will be paid a stipend of 5,000 Kenya shillings, with both national and county government contributing 2,500 shillings each for every person.
This is a very important day for us because, as we know, the entire country, led by His Excellency the President, in the spirit of strengthening primary health care PHC, today we are launching our community health promoters.
The CEC noted that the citizens will now be able to get health services closer to their communities, thus improving their quality of life.
One important pillar for the community health promoters is the primary care networks. And Garissa is one of the counties, or one of the first counties, to have launched all its primary care network hubs.
Omar said that going forward, hospitals in the county will benefit from uninterrupted supply of medicine and medical equipment to be able to operate efficiently.
We had recently posted or deployed consultants, pediatricians, gynecologists, surgeons to our sub-counties in Dadaab and also in Masalani. All this is in line with strengthening our primary care networks and also ensuring that our hubs are effective.
Reporting for Muslim Insight, I'm Lena Musa.
Thank you for that report, Elena. Now, the Malindi Sub-County Security Committee has declared war on narcotic drugs, disco matanga, child pedophiles and the killing of elderly persons in the sub-county. Speaking at Malindi Town's Cleopatra grounds during celebrations to mark this year's Mashujaa Day, committee members led by the Deputy County Commissioner David Losava said the committee will use everything at its disposal to eradicate the menace which they said were rampant in the area.
Mambo ya disco matanga hiyo hatutaki. Tumepiga marufuku. Wale ambao watapatikana wanajihusisha na mambo ya disco matanga watashikwa. Hatutaweza kuruhusu mambo haya. Watoto wanaelekea kufanya mitihani. Wanataka wakati mzuri waweze kujitayarisha ili wafanye mitihani yao vizuri. Kuna mambo ambayo yanaendelea hapa, ile mauaji ya wazee. Wale ambao wanahusika, tafadhalini, hata nyenye nanyi siku zenu ni chache mno. Hata mimi ni mzee, sasa hizi niko na miaka 50 na sitaki nikitembea natembea nikiwa na wasiwasi. Sasa sisi tutapambana na nyinyi.
Lakini hii hali ya cases za defilement, rape zimezidi. Sababu ile gereza imejaa watu wa ubakaji. Na ni wazee wa miaka 60, 70.
Watoto wasome. Na hii mambo ya disco matanga wachaneni nayo. Pengine turudie baada ya watoto kumaliza mambo ya mitihani. Of which mimi najua haitarudiwa sababu haitakikani.
Now, it's a sigh of relief to Mombasa small-scale traders after the county government of Mombasa waived all pending dues and penalties owed to the county during the COVID pandemic period in 2019 to enable them pay their current dues. Mombasa Governor Abdulsamad Sharif Nasir made the announcement on Wednesday when he addressed the press outlining new innovative revenue enhancement measures for the county government of Mombasa. The measures, which are contained in special report on all operations in the county, include the introduction of a digital staff identification card to the revenue collection team to help curb rogue officers. According to the governor, this will prevent corruption within the county government.
After having gone through, there is a report that has been done, a whole compilation on all the businesses that are operating in Mombasa. And we do not want, especially now when things are extremely tough financially, what we have opted to do for businesses that had not paid their licenses during the time of COVID, we're going to be making arrangements for those particular licenses for that period of COVID to be waived. 2, everyone has to comply for now, because we can't have, when you have others that have been able to comply, especially now that we have reduced these permits. And there's going to be an exercise where our teams will be going around. However, I'm equally aware that there are people who, one, either purport to be from the county government, 2, might be from the county government, but they're doing jobs that they're not meant to be doing. That means wanaenda kugota milango ya watu na hawakutumwa kugota milango ya watu. And it is because of that the county government now has made necessary arrangements. I don't know whether we have this. Our revenue teams will be moving around with identifications. These identifications have a QR code. A QR code, when you scan it, I don't know if we have someone who has a phone that can just be able to scan this, and immediately you scan this using your phone, immediately it gives us information who that person is and department gani yuko. Now this will not only be able to assist you ujue ya kwa kweli ule mtu alikuja, lakini hata sisi huku kwa ofisi ikifanywa scan namna hii, tutakuwa tunapata notification ya kwa mtu fulani ameenda kwa mtu fulani. So tutajua ya kwa whether unaenda, whether ni kazi yako kwenda huko ama badala ya kukaa kwenye facility you are doing other things. And there's also a telephone number that people can be able to call.
Very good news coming from Mombasa County. Now to Uasin Gishu County, Ummahat Integrated School, the first non-profit making Islamic integrated institution started in 2011 by Ummahat Women Group, has transformed the lives of many needy children in the area. Formed by a group of uneducated women, but with the passion of giving back to the society by providing a holistic and transformative education system which will in the end produce holistic and responsible citizens. The group is working hard to ensure the girl child is educated regardless of their financial status. Hassan Mohammed with the details from Uasin Gishu County.
It is a normal day at Ummahat Integrated School in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County.
Cows. Followed by camels. The next one sheep. Then the last one goats. Good.
These young souls are here to quench their thirst for education, but their dream will have never come true were it not for the efforts of a group of women who started this institution. Interestingly, most of them never had an opportunity to go to school.
Kwa sababu ya kuanzisha shule haswa, wengi wetu kama sisi hatukusoma. Na tulikuwa tunapenda sana watoto wa kike wapate elimu.
72-year-old Zaina Mohammed is one of the pioneers in a group that brought together 10 selfless women who had a desire to transform a community around them.
Mpango ya chama hii tulikuwa nayo mama wenzangu tulianza mwaka 1996. Tulianza na kujifunza Qur'ani na kusaidia wale wasiojiweza. Tukaendelea kwa muda. Baadaye tukaja kukuwa na mawazo ya kuanzisha shule. Na kwa sababu ya kuanzisha shule haswa, wengi wetu kama sisi hatukusoma. Na tulikuwa tunapenda sana watoto wa kike wapate elimu, wasome. Tukaja tukakuwa na hiyo wazo, tukaanzisha shule. Tulipoanzisha shule tulikuwa na watoto wachache. Na sisi wenyewe pia hatukuwa watu wengi hivyo. Tukaanzisha shule ikaendelea sasa nafikiri ni miaka 12 tangu shule iendelee.
We ask her where they got the inspiration from.
Changamoto nyingi sana. Ukitaka kusafiri hata namba ya gari hujui. Ukitaka kuandika barua hujui. Njia yote unakaa kama mtu ako kwa giza. Sasa kitu kama hiyo ilitusumbua sana. tukasema wetu wale tuliowazaa na watoto ya wenzetu tujaribu kuwafunza wawe na elimu, haswa watoto ya kike. Unajua mtoto ya kike asipokuwa na elimu ya kusoma ni mtu anadharauliwa sana.
According to Zainab, Ummahat gave poor kids from informal settlements the lifeline they needed to access education.
Ndio tukasaidia hawa watoto wasiojiweza. Kuna wamama wamebaki peke yao, waume wamefariki. Kuna waume wamebaki na watoto peke yao, mama amefariki. Sasa wengine hata chakula ya kula hawana. Mpaka sasa kuna wamama hawana pesa hata kulipa nyumba. Bado tunawalipia. Tunawanunulia chakula. Kuna wamama 4 5.
Mohammed Abdullahi is a parent at Ummahat.
All the proceeds from this institution go back to helping the orphans and the less fortunate kids within the community. So as a Muslim, I felt, it's always about the little you can do to make a difference. So I know I might not be paying much, but what I pay also goes a long way into helping some few kids who are either orphaned or come from a very humble background.
Khadija Mohammed is an head teacher at Ummahat, and she speaks about their desire to the vulnerable in the society.
You help one orphan child, you have helped that family, you have helped that community. And I would urge not only the Muslim community but everyone else to support women like the directors in this school.
For Dr. Fatma Daoud, chair lady to the board of directors, appeals to Kenya of goodwill to help these mothers realize their dream of making education accessible even to the needy.
Our parents under the economic time right now, the little fees that parents are paying is not adequate, and quite a number of our parents are needy. At the moment, we are only catering for only 15% of those who are needy and orphans. We have around 85% who do not have sponsors, and we would like to urge for well-wishers to sponsor this needy category of students who are in the school. We also have a challenge in terms of space. The space where the school is located is a rented space, and we would like and wish to have a space of our own so that we can accommodate more students and the numbers can grow bigger. Equally, we have issues with equipments, given that we charge very subsidized fees because our parents are from very poor background. Then we are not able to get quite a number of equipments that are required for the CBC curriculum. For example, a very well-equipped lab, computers to make our learning very successful.
For sure, cultural barriers between women and education did not stop this group of elderly women from achieving the dream of educating poor kids, with a special focus on girls whose education was not given attention during their young days.
According to these elderly mothers, their aim is to give poor children a chance, which no one offered them when they were young, to get education. Hassan Mohammed, Horizon TV, Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County.
Thank you for that report, Hassan. Now that brings us to our first break of the show, and do not go anywhere. We're coming back with a review of today's Friday Bulletin.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما. والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما.
On the next episode,
mume wako amekushurutisha, amekulazimisha umnunulie pombe, umnunulie sigara, umnunulie mairungi, umnunulie bangi. Mwambie la, akitaka wacha kuachi. Amekuacha kwa sababu ya hilo. Wallahi Allah atakupatia lililo la kheri kuliko hili dude lilevi, dude ambalo kwamba ni la mairungi, dude ambalo kwamba ni lichafu.
on the next episode.
I saw it and linked it to the Lord's Prayer. Yes, give us our daily bread, lead us not into temptation, deliver us from every evil. And when I read the Surah to Fatiha, Surah to Fatiha is praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, it's also asking for the proper direction. It's also for asking for mercies. You see, I said, because I loved it, I read it, I said, a change is as good as rest. Let me just close the borders. I want to become a Muslim.
Pearls of Wisdom.
Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, O Allah, I take refuge in you from anxiety and sorrow, weakness and laziness, miserliness and cowardice, the burden of debts, and from being overpowered by men.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on Horizon TV.
La kutafakari.
Ni haramu kumwoa
mwanamke ambaye ni mushrika ni haram. Kadhalika ni haram kumwozesha binti yako Muislamu mwanamume ambaye ni mushrik. Na leo suala hili watu wanalifanyia tasahul. Utamkuta Muislamu au binti wa Kiislamu ameolewa na baniani au ameolewa na Myahudi au ameolewa na Mnasara kwa sababu ya masalih duniawia, na wengine huolewa na Mashia.
La kutafakari. La kutafakari.
Ushaionea ladha ya ile imani ulionayo, ama ni kudai tu kwamba mimi ni Muislamu? Vipi wewe ni Muislamu? Angalia jina langu, mimi ni Muislamu. Angalia mimi naingia msikitini kuswali na Waislamu. Angalia mimi nafanya kadhaa na kadhaa. Sio hiyo mizani ya ladhatul imani. Sasa mizani ametokea Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya kwanza, an yakuna Allahu wa rasuluhu ahabba ilayhi mimma siwahuma, ni kwamba awe Allah jalla jalalu na mtume wake sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hawa wawili ndio unaowapenda zaidi kuliko kitu kingine chochote.
La kutafakari. La kutafakari.
Allah tabaraka wa taala atuambia katika hii hadithi al-Quds, ewe mwanadamu, lau umekutana nami biqurabi al-ardhi, ay ma yuqaribu al-ardh, na madhambi ambayo yanaolinganishwa na udongo wa ardhini. Biqurabi al-ardhi khataya, si madhambi madogo haya, madhambi mengi. Kisha ukawa haukunishirikisha mimi na chochote, laqituka biqurabiha maghfira, niko tayari kukusamehe wewe yale madhambi yako yale, nitayageuza yatakuwa ni msamaha. Lakini kinyume chake nini? Lau umefanya amali nyingi kisha ukamshirikisha Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah hazitaki.
La kutafakari.
Kuna faida gani tupata tukimjua Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
nabii mwenye ushawishi mkubwa duniani?
Tukizikwa tukitiwa kaburini, tutaulizwa haya maswali matatu: man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyuk.
Sheikh Jamaluddin anakupa simulizi.
Huwezi kumpenda mtu usiyemjua
na kutambua sunna zake,
lakini ukimjua na ukimtambua Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mapenzi yako yatazidi.
Umfahamu Rasulullah, familia na maswahaba wake. Tazama sira ya Mtume kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni kwenye Horizon TV. Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما. والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما.
On the next episode.
Mume wako amekushurutisha, amekulazimisha umnunulie pombe, umnunulie sigara, umnunulie mairungi, umnunulie bangi. Mwambie la, akitaka wacha kuachi. Amekuacha kwa sababu ya hilo. Wallahi Allah atakupatia lililo la kheri kuliko hili dude lilevi, dude ambalo kwamba ni la mairungi, dude ambalo kwamba ni lichafu.
kutafakari.
Musiwaozesheni binti zenu wanaume ambao ni washirikina, hata akawa na pesa kama nini. Maana haya ndio watu ambao wanaangamia kwa ajili hayo. Wanaangalia senti zitakupeleka wapi? Utakufa, utaziacha hapa hizo senti zako hizo. Wa tudayya hayataka wa tudayya dinak wa tudayya iyalak kwa umur tafiha, kwa mambo ambayo ya kipuzi. Wala tankihu almushrikina hatta yu'minu wala 'abdun mu'minun khairun min mushrik. Ukachukua binti yako ukamwozesha kijana ambaye mjakazi ni mtumwa, lakini madama yu'minu billahi azza wa jalla ni bora kuliko mtu ambaye ni mushriki.
La kutafakari. La kutafakari.
Yoyote ambaye anaitarajia kukutana na Mola wake ili kwenda kulipa mema ya aliyoyafanya, faman kana yarju liqa'a rabbi falyamal 'amalan salihan, atende matendo mema. Matendo mema kila wakati tukariri, lazima turegelee hapa. Matendo mema ni yale uliyofanya kwa ajili ya Allah, na yale uliyoyafanya yakiwafikiana na mafundisho ya Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ikiwa umefanya amali, umefanya ibada lillah, lakini amali ile hujaifanya namna alivyosomesha Mtume, hiyo si amali njema. Na ikiwa umefanya amal kama alivyofundisha Mtume, lakini haukuifanya lillahi, fahadha laysa min al-a'mali as-salihah, hiyo si katika amali njema. Kwa hivyo Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala atuhimiza, atuamrisha, falyamal amalan saliha, afanye amali njema.
La kutafakari.
Uislamu ni dini yenye mpangilio ulio kamili, na taratibu zake humpa fursa kila mja kuifahamu na kuelewa.
Muislamu yoyote lazima achukue jukumu la kuifahamu dini yake, kuanzia kwenye shahada, ashhadu, nakiri kwa moyo, kisha usafi wa kimwili. Hapo ndipo huanza safari ya kumwabudu Mola wake.
Usikose kujiunga nasi kila siku ya Jumamosi live kwenye kipindi Ufahamu Uislamu, ili ujifunze mengi usiyojua kutoka Horizon TV.
On the next episode,
I saw it and linked it to the Lord's Prayer. Yes, give us our daily bread, lead us not into temptation, deliver us from every evil. And when I read the Surah to Fatiha, Surah to Fatiha is praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, it's also asking for the proper direction. It's also asking for mercies. You see, I said, because I loved it, I read it, I said, a change is as good as a rest. Let me just close the borders. I want to become a Muslim.
Quote of the day. Uthman bin Affan radiyallahu anhu said, "Do not quarrel and do not create differences among yourselves. Hold fast to the rope of Allah and maintain unity in your ranks."
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mulioamini,
unapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu. Hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Horizon TV. And we're back after a short break with a review of today's Friday Bulletin. Joining me in studio is none other than Mr. Musa Mwale. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you this morning?
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much for joining us, for helping me review today's Friday Bulletin. And the top story is Arab ambassadors in Kenya unite to advocate for Palestinian rights. And I know it's been a heavy, nearly 21 days of heavy bombardment from the Israeli forces. And what do you have to say about this? Because we've seen a show of solidarity. Maybe you could tell us more on that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Nadia, and of course, welcome our viewers. It has been sad, very sad, that for 21 days, the brutal Israeli or Zionist government has been murdering innocent Palestinians just because of fighting for their land. And unfortunately, the West, composed of the German, Britain and the US, have been very, very hypocritical in, supporting the murderous nation of Israel, and yet calling for restraint when it comes to Ukraine. It's very hypocritical. For me, I call them all as murderers. There's no difference between the one who is murdering small children and the one who is supporting and arming and financing that kind of person to do that. So it's been quite unfortunate. We know that with the du'as and with the power of the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Palestinians are going to emerge victorious in this, inshallah. The world is now witnessing and seeing the brutality and the hypocrisy of the Zionist government and the Western governments in their call for democracy and respect for human rights. They're not respecting the human rights of Palestinians. And therefore, it has just been hypocritical. The world has been rallying around. Of course, the common citizen of the world has been rallying around to support the Palestinian cause.
Yes.
And we call upon everyone, inshallah, every human being, to see the inhuman treatment of the Palestinians and raise and support, raise against the governments, and call the government to actually stop, call for a ceasefire, and granting Palestinians their right.
Yes, and I'm seeing on the front page of the Friday Bulletin, we're seeing a section of pro-Palestinian protesters in Mombasa last week, where Mombasa County, they were able to hold a peaceful protest, and that clearly begs the question, as a Kenyan citizen, as a Muslim, how do we support our brothers and sisters in Gaza and Palestine?
That's a good question. One we support by, of course, joining demonstrations, because it shows the world the ills and the sins that are being committed, or the atrocities and the genocide that is being committed against civilians. But we should also, as Muslims of this country and any other country, go beyond that. We need to make dua for the Palestinians. We need to give our material support. Jamia Mosque and Al Khair Foundation are collecting funds So, and their pay bills, you can donate, even if it's 10 shillings, 20 shillings. There is nothing that is little.
Yes.
If a million of us just give 50 shillings each, that will be 50 million shillings. So let's not underrate our contribution. And the third thing is, we surely, people say boycotting products from Israel doesn't help if it's just one person. Yes, if it's one person, it may not help. But if you and I and another person do that, and as I said earlier, a million of us boycott going to the Westgate Mall. The malls in this country are surviving because of the patronage of Muslims.
Yes.
If we all say we're not going to go to Westgate, we're not going to have our teas and our meetings at Guest, we're not going to shop there, they will be affected somehow. If we all say we're not eating at Cafe is owned by the Israeli business people. These are people who are getting money from us Muslims and sponsoring the murder of our own brothers. So we should be able to boycott products from the Zionist government of Israel. We cannot boycott products made by Jews from other countries because there are quite a number of Jews who are in support of the Palestinian cause.
Yes.
Judaism as a religion does not support what is happening in Israel. But the Zionist regime, that's why we're calling it a Zionist regime, it's a political arm or political wing, you know, of a few Jewish groups. So Jews on their own are very good people. Judaism is a good religion that was revealed before, of course, Islam, among the religions of people of the book. But the Zionists, anything that comes from Israel, kindly boycott. At some time, I also, many years ago, I was granted a visa to go to Israel, and I declined to go. It was a free visa. It was a free trip. It was being sponsored by the Israeli government. Yes, I went for the visa I was given, but later on I just thought I wouldn't want to support that kind of a brutal government in any way, you know. So as Muslims and as human beings, let's give our contribution. And anyone, I'm told there is even a media house in this country that is in support of the Zionist regime. We should, as Muslims, boycott such a media house. We should not give them our businesses to advertise and all that, you know, so that whatever pressure we can put on this regime, brutal regime, let's do our best to give that kind of support.
Yes.
Yes.
And Mr. Musa, I'm seeing on the third page of the Friday Bulletin an article by Sheikh Nadia Osman where he talks about ways you can support Palestine and Gaza. And he's talking about raising awareness. In this current situation that we're in, how do we raise awareness?
Thank you. That is the best. I love this because what has happened in the past is that the mainstream media has shown us one side of the conflict. And it's not just the Palestinian cause, but all over the world, especially where Muslims have been oppressed. It has shown that the oppressed one is the one who is oppressing.
Yes.
As in, like, he's the one who caused that oppression to happen. Of course, branding Muslims all sorts of names like terrorist. When a Muslim commits a crime, he's a terrorist. But when a non-Muslim commits a crime, then they call him or them, they call them a mentally deranged person or whatever names. You know, they less certain things, certain tags. So the mainstream media, especially the CNN and all that kind of group, they have been feeding us with wrong information. Now we have the alternative media, we have the social media. Please, rather than forward messages that are not very useful, forward messages on Palestine, on the history of Palestine, on the number of UN resolutions that Israel has not adhered to, none of them. On the number of resolutions, there are like 34 times the US government has vetoed resolutions, almost like over 53 resolutions, UN resolutions sanctioning Israel. The US, the ones who call themselves the superpower, the ones who call themselves the father of democracy, they have vetoed those kind of resolutions. And lately they even just vetoed a resolution on ceasefire, you know, a few days ago. So we should spread this information. We should call them out for who they are. You know, they are murderers. And the US government supports the murderers government. There's no apologies about that. We have to call them for what they are. So share information, forward the correct information. Don't forward just any information that you get. Verify and forward it. People will get to know. Forward it to your network members who are Muslims and non-Muslims. Because there is a notion that has gone out there that this is a religious war. It is not. It's an occupation by the apartheid regime of Israel in a Palestinian land. And these people, in Palestine, we have Christians and we have Muslims. And the infrastructure that has been destroyed belong to both Christians and Muslims.
Very true.
So there's nothing like it's a religious war. It's not even a religious war between the Jews or Judaism and Islam. No. It's the Zionists versus the innocent civilians who majority of them happen to be Muslims of Palestine. But we have also Christians in Palestine.
Very well put, Mr. Musa. And just because this is one of the topics that people have been talking about, how do you teach a young person, a child, probably educate them if they're asking questions on what's been going on as well?
I think it's good for people, we as Muslims, first of all, to understand the history of Palestine and the history of the creation of the state of Israel. Then from there we can tell our children or our youngsters about that so that they know. We do not start by telling them, oh, Israel is just a bad government that is doing this to the Palestine. They should know the history, because once you know the history, then it's easier to understand the situation the way it is right now. So it's good, of course, to start telling our young children and our kids about the history, because, of course, when you're talking about Al-Aqsa, then the history of Palestine comes in. So it doesn't have to be you starting a topic just because there's a conflict or there is a brutality going on in Palestine, but just educating our young people about our holy sites, you know, the Kaaba and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And then from there, people get, the children will get to know their own history, because this is our history. Yes.
Very well put. And just to paint a picture, if we want to talk about it as well in the media, what would your be advice for everybody?
Of course, it's to be sober and not to be very emotional.
Yes.
To be very objective in sharing information. And because they say truth shall set you free.
Yes.
Once the truth is shared objectively and known, then even those people who are not aware would become aware of the real situation.
Yes.
I know, of course, there are tendency, because we are upset, it's sad, whatever is happening to our brothers, for us to be a little bit more defensive than objective. So for people who want to share information about what is happening, they should be very, very objective. And of course, we should also call out and point out the hypocrisy of the West.
Yes.
And not only in Palestine, but it has happened in India, for example. Muslims are being killed by the Hindu government or the Hindu regime. You know, in China, we've seen Muslims, you know, all over. We should call out this and call out the so-called advocates of democracy to actually see what is happening in the world. Yes.
And I'm being reminded, because of time, there's a story that we've just missed, and that was the recognition of Qari Abdul Razak as one of the heroes that were recognized on Mashujaa Day, and that's on the second page. And I know this is something that, you know, the National Heroes Council, you know, they created a list, and this year during Mashujaa Day, a Muslim scholar was recognized.
Yeah, we do really appreciate that the efforts that community members and our community members have put in not only helping uplifting the standard of living of Muslims, but also non-Muslims.
Yes.
So I've seen here there are quite a number of mashallah people who've been recognized.
Yes.
It's good to recognize and appreciate the efforts these people are doing within the community, but it's also just good to, apart from recognizing them, that you know, trying to empower them, you know, build their capacities in terms of running the programs they've been running.
Yes.
It's not enough for you to just tell me thank you, but if I'm raising orphans and you tell me I will take one orphan and support them, you know, you're helping me towards that. Or I will increase the number of orphans that I'm raising. If I'm reaching out to community to provide services, if I'm reaching out to 1,000 members of the community, I'll be able to reach out to more than 1,000 with the support.
Yes.
So I really appreciate that. For the first time, we have seen quite a number of Muslim faces being recognized by the government of the day. We do appreciate that.
Yes, very well put. Is there anything else you'd love to add on, even when it comes to such important people and what we learn from their acts as well?
Well, all of us are called upon to be, you know, to give back to society in whichever way we can.
Yes.
Either with our wealth or our intellect or just our time. So, inshallah, let not this be a preserve of specific people, but all of us.
Very well put. Is there anything else you'd love to add on before we wrap up today's review of the Friday Bulletin?
Well, I would like to remind our viewers, maybe we want just to read that number for contributing to the Palestinians.
Yes, on the
pay bill number.
Yes, on the front page we're seeing an appeal for Gaza by Jamia Mosque Committee, and the M-Pesa pay bill is 150770, and the M-Pesa pay bill once again is 150770, and the account number is Gaza. And the contributions can also be made through checks and cash at the Jamia Mosque Nairobi Administration Office. Just to repeat, that is the M-Pesa pay bill, which is 150770, and the account number is Gaza, and that is an appeal for Gaza by the Jamia Mosque Committee. Thank you so much for pointing that out. It's very important that we remind our viewers these are some of the ways that they can assist their brothers and sisters in Palestine. Thank you so much, Mr. Musa, for reminding me to point that out as well.
You're welcome, and please kindly, today being Juma, give your contribution to Gaza today, inshallah. Before you go for Salah, just remember to go to the pay bill 150770, inshallah. Account name Gaza.
Thank you so much, Mr. Musa. I think that brings us to the end of today's show. Once again, thank you so much for staying with us here on Horizon TV. And following up on the Muslim Insight, that was the review of today's Friday Bulletin. Join us again next Friday, inshallah, same time at 8 a.m. here on Horizon TV. Until next Friday, ma'as-salam.
Horizon TV, kurunzi ya taifa.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Ninasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان.